So, Black Summoner Episode 1. And to be honest, this is not an anime that I thought I would review. I will do a weekly review of the anime because I really liked it. And I will explain a little bit more in detail why I like it. But yeah, I didn't really expect to be doing an anime review of this anime. Why didn't I expect to do an anime review? Well, basically it came out to be because when I read the description of the anime, I did plan to watch this anime, don't get me wrong, for this season. I had it already in my list like a couple of weeks ago. But in general, when reading the description of the anime, it didn't really stood out to me as anything special. It was your typical normal Isekai anime with your overpowered main character, protagonist, with him being basically having superpowers and things of that nature. And yeah, I went with that mentality to watch the first episode of the anime. I didn't really know if I was going to drop it or if I was going to continue watching the second episode, but a little bit more reluctant. But no, I really did enjoy this first episode. In fact, I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a great introductory episode for an anime, for an isekai anime. And to be honest, I'm going to talk now about the things I liked about the anime, because there are a lot of things. And like I said already, this first episode, coming from the mentality that I was coming from, it did really surprise me. It caught my attention, to be honest. And one of the things I liked about the episode is the general, how can you say it, the general ambition of the anime, the general idea of the anime. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is that the anime is not your typical isekai anime. Of course, don't get me wrong, it is an isekai anime, but it is different in some aspects than your typical isekai anime. For example, in this isekai anime, we have the main protagonist that summon him to the isekai world be companion to the protagonist, to him. And this is not something that you see really often in isekai animes. In Konosuba, you got the goddess accompanying the protagonist, but she wasn't really the one that summoned him, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, it's been years since I watched the first and second season. But in this case, yeah, she is with him in all the adventure that he will have in the future and that he had in this first episode. So yeah, it is kind of really interesting. And to add to that layer, we also don't see her, we just see her or hear her voice, I should say. So yeah, that is another thing that I like, that you kind of have this mystery of who summoned him to this isekai world, and apparently she was so beautiful. So yeah, it is pretty interesting to see that aspect of the anime that I really like, to be honest. Another thing that I liked about the anime is that being an isekai anime, sometimes you get that the main protagonist doesn't actually have to put in work in order to gain a certain level, or in order to be that powerful that he is in the first episode. You have many isekai animes that the main protagonist already in episode 1 is so overpowered that he's basically undefeated. And that's not necessarily bad, but I would like to see how this anime introduces us to this anime, which is by having your main protagonist working his way up into basically being stronger. And I don't know if he will get progressively stronger in a normal way, or if he will skyrocket into being all that powerful being that he will be supposedly in the future episodes. I don't know if that transition will be really fast or really slow, but either way, just the fact that he is kind of weak in a sense, not really, but in a sense in this first episode, it's something that I really appreciate, because like I said already, in many animes you have the main protagonist in the first episode already be invincible and basically god of the anime. And in this case, I like that aspect, that it was a little bit different than other isekai animes. So yeah, of course, the basic things of having your main protagonist go to a guild and to be adventuring and to have a companion and to have pets, of course, those are things that I also enjoy in not only isekai anime, but your typical anime in general that has adventure in it. So yeah, those things I really enjoyed. And also really interesting to see that apparently he will have an elf partner, which of course probably will get introduced in the second or third episode, because like we saw in this first episode, he basically was contemplating having some partners with him, which is natural. Of course, in his journey he will have a lot of partners and folks, like he said in himself. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how she will see herself in relation to our main protagonist, and how they will develop a relationship. Will they get into a affectional relationship, into a love relationship, or will they be partners, or I don't know. It will be really interesting to see. Now, I don't know if he will have all the girls that were enslaved in the anime as partners, or only the elf, half elf, to be precise. So yeah, it will be interesting to see also that. I don't know if it's only going to be her or all the girls that were enslaved. Which, talking about slaves, it is pretty interesting to see that slavery is basically permitted in this world, or in this town that he's in, because we see the map that there are different countries, if you can call them like that. But at least in this country that he's in, town I should say, that he's in, apparently slavery is allowed. So yeah, it will be pretty interesting to see if other neighboring countries actually allow the slavery of people, of creatures, of whatever you want to call them. So yeah, it is pretty interesting to see that basically in open air. I mean, it was kind of a back alley, but at the end of the day, it was in open air that they were basically selling slaves to the general people. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how that will affect in future episodes the plot development of the whole story. And well, what else to talk about? I mean, it is also pretty interesting to see that also caught my attention, and that is also different to other isekai animes, that he himself, our main protagonist, is age 23. Why does this surprise me? Well, basically because your other isekai animes, you have like your 16, 17-year-old boy get transported into this new world, this isekai world. So yeah, it is pretty interesting to see our main protagonist be age 23, which is not something typically seen in animes in general, unless they are animes focused on, I don't know, on general adult things that you will see actually adults be the main protagonist. So yeah, that aspect I also like, not because I like having your 23-year-old or your above average boy in your isekai world, nor the opposite. I liked it because, I mean, it is different from other animes, in not only isekai animes but animes in general. So yeah, so apparently we get cameos from a couple of interesting people that will probably have a big plot development or plot point in the future. For example, we get, I think it was a girl tied up or chained up, I should say. We get like a cameo of her. I don't know if she will be a good or bad person, but yeah, she will definitely have, I think it's a she will definitely have a big important role in the future in the anime. And we also see kind of like a knight. I don't know if that is the correct term to use. We get, yeah, like a cameo of a knight. I don't know if he will be a foe or an ally, but again, he will also play an important role in the future of the anime. So in general, I mean, this first episode basically surprised me a lot. I didn't expect this anime to caught my attention. I mean, another thing I also liked about the anime is the general having missions that are ordered in difficulties, which of course are ordered in difficulties of how strong you are. And another aspect I like about is the whole having levels and him having to level up, because of course he's level 1 currently. So yeah, that is another thing that I like. And those, I mean, a lot of those things combined is, I mean, if you talk about the anime with only one of those things aspect that I mentioned earlier, I mean, it wouldn't be really an anime that can have my attention, that can really make me think, oh well, this is going to be a great anime. But when you combine all of those things, then yeah, it does really surprise me in a good way that this is an anime that, especially when considering that I went into it basically now with great expectations, just basically let's see what I can see and what I can find of this anime. Maybe it will surprise me, maybe not, it will not. Well, it did surprise me actually. So yeah, that is really good to see. Like I said already, definitely doing an anime review of the whole season. I hope it doesn't drop off in future episodes, because this first episode was a great starter for what is about to come. So yeah, I hope the next episodes can also deliver about the hype of this first episode. But yeah, I mean, a really good episode, to be honest. And I don't know, I think that will be everything for me. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything else important that happened in the episode. But apparently, I mean, I don't know if I should mention or I should add this to the review, but apparently he's the only summoner that is S rank, and apparently being a summoner is a rarity. So yeah, of course he doesn't want to reveal that he is a summoner. So yeah, I mean, maybe in future episodes we'll get to see other summoners that apparently were rank C or D, something like that. Maybe he will meet them, and I don't know. And apparently the goddess that is accompanying him is actually really strong. I mean, he has a praise, I think it was a praise eye or something like that, and a praising level that is rank S, that permits him from seeing weapons that are rank S, and people that are, I think, 100 levels higher than him or something like that. So yeah, it is pretty interesting to see that the goddess is really strong, that not even him can see how powerful she is with his rank S appraisal eye. So I mean, yeah, it is pretty interesting to see in the future if when he can summon her, if he can summon her, because we don't know if he will be able to summon her. I mean, I guess he will be. I mean, she's one of the main female protagonists of the anime, so of course it will be kind of interesting and kind of wild to see if he never actually gets to summon her. So I mean, yeah, I think that was everything I wanted to say about this anime, about this first episode of the anime. Those are my general thoughts, raw thoughts, because like I said already, I don't have any biases towards this anime. I just went straight blind into it. So yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts, my opinions, and I guess I will see you on the next episode review of this anime.